had the inline skates, and I feel very safe when I rollerblade. Those were too dangerous for me. I was like, nah, I'm gonna fucking run into a car.
So do you do the lean where your hands are behind your back?
I do.
Oh, no way.
I do. The aerodynamics are much better. I can go faster.
What are inline?
Inline are those, it's 3 wheels instead of 4, and the wheels are bigger.
Oh.
And they go so fast, and I'm like, this isn't safe for me.
Are they better for the rocks in the city though? Because that's like the thing. I'm like, I'm such a good rollerblader in New Jersey, and it's so rocky here.
Oh yeah, and mulch. Like if there's mulch spread out over that, I mean, you're fucked. You really got
you
gotta be careful.
up with like the stuff. Cause
I actually don't have the pads. I've never fallen off, but of course you're always susceptible to it. But I'm very careful, and that's why the second I had the inlines and I tried them, I'm like, nope, I don't trust these.
I think about the movie Big Daddy when they threw the stick.
Oh, I love that movie.
Guys, we are here with stand-up comedian Phil Duckett. So happy to have you.
Welcome back to the show, Phil.
Thank you for having me. It's been a minute, but I'm happy.
Yeah, so much has changed in your life.
Girl.
We had such a epic conversation in the green room at New York Comedy Club. That was the first time I'd seen you since your daughter was born. And the shit you have got, it's intense.
It was a shit show.
That's intense. So let's talk about it. Like what happened?
So my daughter was born January 2nd. And so, my dad had been sick prior, like, how's my mic? We're good now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so my dad had been sick. He had beat cancer twice.
Damn.
Right, and so it came back a third time.
Fuck.
And so, even like, I come from a very religious family, even as like a man of faith, it's like the third time you're like, shit. Yeah. How many people, you don't beat cancer 3 and 4 times. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of wild, one of those things. Be grateful for the extended time.
Yeah.
But I remember always having conversations with him, and like, he was like, I just can't wait to meet my granddaughter. He was like, I'm going to meet her. And my mom was like, I think that's what keeps him fighting too. It was like,
wow.
You know what I mean? Because he would order things from Amazon, just like little stuff like in anticipation.
Aww.
And so I was and she was supposed to be born December 29th. So I'm like really just, and now she's late. And now I'm like,
just massaging your girlfriend's feet.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God.
Maybe we should have sex.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Trust me. She was always trying to, I was like, listen.
We got to get this kid out of here.
Yeah, we got to get this kid out. But at the same time, it's sex is different with pregnant women, I mean? Like some people say they love it, and I know this is going to sound weird, but I was on this show a while ago, I was a wild boy.
Yeah.
I've had sex with somebody who was pregnant before in my younger years that wasn't my baby. It was a much different experience than it being my girlfriend being pregnant. Cause I'm like, no, what if I like give them dimples or like, you know what I mean? Like I didn't know what to think. She was like, it's not possible. I'm like, yeah, I'm not hearing that shit. Yeah. So we would do it just out of necessity, but I was not all the way there into it. Like, like I would have been if I was just whoring.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
whoring is less at stake.
Oh man, I got no horse in this race. Let's have some fun.
Right.
Yeah, but it was all stakes. I was like, I don't want to do nothing that would, what if she comes too early or I hit something and now she's fucked up because I'm a little degenerate. You know what I mean? That's, my mind goes all over the place. So, but anyway, so she's late and I'm really like, I don't know how much time, but I know my dad is getting skinnier and weaker, but we still talk. Because at this point, I'm calling him all the time.
Yeah.
And so she comes on January 2nd, and I remember I called my parents FaceTime immediately. And like my dad, this one, he's like really weak, but he's there. And he was like, oh my God. He was like, let me pray over. So he prays for her over FaceTime, which was just really touching. And so I was like, great. And I was like, all right, Mom. I was like, I'm going to get the baby to you somehow. I got to get her down. Because I'm from the Carolinas. My parents are in South Carolina. And newborns, they're really not supposed to travel like at least a month or 2. You know what I mean? Really, even at the earliest.
Yeah.
But I was like, I got to get her down there somehow. And I remember my girlfriend ended up being in the hospital like 5 extra days. Because she had like a fever and shit. And they're not going to release you after birth with any complications until you're like 24 hours with no fever or anything.
Yeah.
So I remember on the second day being in the hospital, my mom calls me and she's like, hey, Phil, your dad's here. He just wanted me to call so he can talk to you. I was like, hey, what's up, man? I'm holding your granddaughter. He was like, great, man. He was like, I just wanted to call and just tell you bye, man. Like, I'm pretty tired right now. And I was like, what? And, I remember just like the oxygen being sucked. I was like, what do you mean bye? So I book a flight straight from Manhattan, straight from the hotel room. The next morning, I'm in an Uber straight to LaGuardia.
Yeah.
I get to South Carolina. I get there. I'm there with him that day. He's responsive, but he's just he's weak. You know what I mean? But I'm just talking and I'm watching basketball with him on TV and stuff. And the next day, he was nonverbal. He didn't talk. Yeah. And then then it just got worse. And then that's when the rattle came, like, and you could hear, and I heard about it, but, you know, it's so much different than what you see on TV and shit. Like, I still hear that rattle like it was that fucking loud. Like, my room is not as far from the master room, and I could hear.
And when you say the rattle, it's the breathing?
Death rattle. Yeah, like as the fluids and everything from your body is like, you hear
filling
it.
up your organs and stuff.
Right. And so I remember I went in there when my mom was like, Phil, she starts crying, I think, and we go in there and we're all holding his hand.
Jesus.
And my mom just said, don't be afraid. And he just
wow.
And it was like.
You heard the last breath?
Yeah, I was holding his hand on the last breath. And I remember just like, you know, to the actual circle of life, not that Disney bullshit, but like to see my daughter come out of a vagina and then within the same week watch my dad take his final breath. Like, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain the feeling. It was almost like a numbness, really. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I didn't know how to feel. Like, I would look at a picture of my daughter and be like, oh my God, but I'm literally looking at my dad's. Like, the body stayed there for like 4 hours till the coroner had, you know what I mean? The coroner had to get there and all that shit. And so
things you don't think about until you experience them.
I'm not even thinking. I honestly, to be honest, that never occurred to me. What the fuck happens to the body? Normally you're just at the funeral home.
Right.
You don't think like, well.
There's time in between that.
Yeah, literally 4 hours. My dad is in there. And so, you know, I remember like my mom, like we were all fucked up, but my mom, you know, my parents were married for 40 years. So she's just a different level of grieving, you know what I mean? I'm trying to be strong because I'm the man now. That's how I'm feeling. And, you know, I'm not like, I have emotion. Like, I cried like a motherfucking baby, but I was outside because I just couldn't let my mom was such like just, you know what I mean? Yeah, and I was just like, I'm like, we got it, it's okay, but like, yeah, I got outside and just like laid down on the concrete. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just.
Yeah, you fell to your knees, I'm sure. Like,
for real. It was, and because, you know, I think my dad, me and my dad had a great relationship. So I know everybody's father, their relationships ain't great, but like, he was honestly one of the best dads you could ask for. So that shit to me, you know what I mean? And just because you know death is coming, don't make it no easier. That's the crazy part. Like, you know the time is limited, but when it happens, it's still like, what the fuck did I just see?
Yeah,
you know?
and you don't get to experience their essence anymore. It's just a memory.
Exactly. And I got a couple of voicemails on my phone I'll just play sometimes. Just, you know what I mean? Like, and my dad, he was a college basketball coach, you know, Division I, so I can go on YouTube and like catch him. Like, I'll listen to old clips and press conferences, and that's kind of cool. But yeah, man, it's fucking weird because I just look at my daughter, I'm like, God, you would have loved him. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but.
And you had said, because I asked you when we were talking in the green room, like, does your daughter see him?
Well, she's still, you know, she's only 3 months old now, so she ain't seeing much of shit but the nipple.
Yeah, right.
That's all she's really caring
because they don't even have a clear vision yet. I forgot what the period of time, but like, you know, a baby doesn't have full vision until X amount of time.
They see like black and white first. And so I think she's starting to see a little bit of color. She's starting to react to it. Oh. But I think they say like around 2 and 3, that's when, you know, you've seen those videos where like, Mama, who's that man in the corner?
Yeah.
And that's going to fuck me up.
That's got to be wild. I can't imagine.
I'm like, God, please don't let no man be in the corner right now. But no.
Yeah, that's got to be. And then how like you have to hold both of these extreme sets of feelings at the same time.
Yeah, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Right. Yeah, I think it's hard enough to deal with one of these things is because it's just like such a overstimulation of one feeling.
Yeah.
But to literally be on opposite ends of the spectrum, but at the highest feeling.
At the same time.
Yeah, it's like a star imploding. That's what it felt like, I think.
Do you feel guilt sometimes for feeling joy over your daughter? Or like, what's the, like what, because it seems like there could be two ways that it could go about. Like they could almost even each other out, or there could be like, guilt associated with feeling too much of one, like either being too happy about the daughter and not honoring your father, or being too sad about your father and not, experiencing joy with your girlfriend. And is your girlfriend or your fiance?
girlfriend for now. But but yeah, I'm about to say, if you put it out there like that, you're gonna really get it started again.
I did that on purpose.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, but no, for right now, girlfriend. But I'm looking into some things.
Oh, good, big of you.
Well, I have to make an honest woman out of her.
Oh, Jesus.
I knew that would ruffle some feathers. But no, she's a great woman. But no, honestly, it's like I said, it's literally, it's numb. Like you don't feel anything. I'm happy when I'm happy, but that can literally change. Like I could see something right then and just start crying while I'm holding her. So it was almost, I didn't know how to feel. But I think the guilt part, the guiltiest thing that I really beat myself up about in the beginning was, I was like, if you weren't such a fucking idiot and just a hoe, like, you know what I mean? Like you just pissed away so much, just literally being escort and, fucking for sport. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, if you would have taken these relationships prior to this seriously, you might have had a kid earlier. Your dad would have had at least had some time with his first grandkid.
Yeah.
But now you didn't. And which my mom was like, you can't even think like that. It doesn't even equate the same, but.
And it's like the time and like the person. I mean, I know you've known your girlfriend for a while, right? It's the same one?
5 years.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Can't keep track.
No, that's the truth now.
I mean, I was kind of being serious. I was like, was this the one who was your best friend?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the same one I'm thinking about.
That's nice.
Yes, but I mean, even then, it's like, was it the right time? You can't go back and think like, oh, if I had done this, like you did what you did, and that's like
a lot of people have a kid late in life and they didn't get to whore it up. So at least you enjoyed yourself.
And that's a fact. Like I had a good time. You know what I mean?
And you're not late. You're.
I'm 35.
Yeah, you're not. This is not late in life.
That's actually kind of young for New York.
I'm from South Carolina, though.
That's old in South Carolina.
I'm literally supposed to be a grandfather next year. You know what I mean? Like,
the South just does it different.
All
In the
my
suburbs,
homies are like on their second, third marriage. Like they were married at 22, coming out of college.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, I don't know you hate your wife, but y'all are sticking it out. You know what I mean? Like, that's the South for you.
How has having a daughter changed you?
Where do we begin?
Do you refer to yourself as a girl dad?
I don't refer to myself, but I am a girl dad. Like, but I don't refer.
Yeah.
I have hashtagged the picture girl dad, but that was for views.
Right.
But I am a girl dad, and I honestly love it. Like it is the coolest. Of course, as a man, I was like, man, I can't wait. I want a son first. He protects the daughter like I'm the oldest. But it doesn't. Now that I have her, I'm just like, nah. Like
it's wild. But little boys and little girls are so different because I have a nephew and I fucking love. He's such a beautiful kid. He's not. He just turned 9. But I was also babysitting Casey Balsham's daughter who just turned 1, and I'm like, wow, the little girls. They're just different, but they're like, there's just. The sweetness of a little girl, I'm just like, it melts me. It absolutely melts me.
Rip your heart out. Just too sweet. Just give you a cavity.
Yeah. And it's not like little boys aren't sweet. They're so sweet. But like
they're
little
unhinged.
Girls, they kind of are. They're kind of just throwing shit at you. And not that little girls can't be maniacs, but like, there's just a caringness that I've noticed in a little girl that I don't notice in a little boy that I'm like, that's very interesting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my little cousin has literally dumped a whole bag of baking powder. Flour. Like just
on the
dumped
floor.
it. Just
little boy.
Yeah. It just plays in it, and I'm like, are you out of your mom is going to fucking kill you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But little girls are a little different, and I think it's definitely changed me. It's definitely made me sweeter. But I think the main thing, the level of anxiety that I have at all times now, which I didn't understand about shit that's 15, 20 years away. I'm like, what if some dude slips something in her drink at prom because he's trying to fuck? I literally had that thought, and my mother was like, what are you? She's 3 months old. I'm like, you don't understand. These motherfuckers out here is crazy.
Well, you know what? Every guy has said to me, like my I don't know if my dad's ever said this to me, but I can imagine if he did, but like guys are like, with daughters are like, don't trust men, I know I am one kind of thing.
Yeah, men know how bad they are.
100% though, and I was teaching just like that.
At
the end of the day, the man's trying to fuck. That's the lesson of the day. I don't care how sweet he is. Daddy's a Christian, so am I. If you throw it at him, he's going to take it. Do not trust anything they say. Do this on your own terms. But a man will always tell you what you want to hear to fuck. And he's always going to try to tell you that he's allergic to condoms or latex in some way.
Yeah.
Even I have a sensitivity to it, but you could probably pressure yourself through it.
Wow.
Men know how bad men are. That's so funny to me.
And so, I just got to teach her the whole game, like from the jump. Like, It's
Well,
okay.
I mean, if she loves herself and she knows herself, and then it's like, oh, everything else is kind of cake. Because
I mean,
so the second somebody tries to fuck with you, you're like, you sniff it out immediately.
But what
you
if
have
she's
to.
like me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was out there, y'all. And I'm like, I know it's a double standard, but it's just like, babe, you're not gonna want to be in that realm. Like, you don't want people texting about you and shit. Like, but they're like, but Phil, if it's okay for you to do it, it wasn't okay for me to do it. And I think that's what I'm realizing now
Your
as a
smile
dad.
on your face
I'm
is
just
so
like,
funny.
what the fuck?
You don't
was
want to
I
be saving
thinking?
on rent because you're sleeping at a guy's house that you're fucking.
100%.
That's from the Phil Duckett Playbook. I know it well. I know it well.
I've slept in some really nice apartments.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I've also had to bed some of the worst just to get in those apartments. And it like eats away at your soul.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's what I gotta like just let her know. Like,
Yeah, you want to make sure you leave with your integrity.
everybody takes a piece of you.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
Sounded like a real chick, Phil.
Oh my God.
But it's true, they do. I mean,
You know
it's
what
like
I mean?
energetically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
when you're like physically, inside somebody.
Exactly.
Take
And
a little piece of
I
them
can't
home.
imagine being entered. I've only
It's
done
wild,
the entering.
man.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
wild. It's
Whoa.
wild. It's a whole
Yeah.
different ball game.
Gotta be.
So when did you hang up your hoe hat officially?
I think, here's the thing.
Or
Like,
you still spinning it around?
yeah.
Time for a ride.
Doing tricks on his hand.
Here's the thing. I just,
Spin it on the hook.
I think what it was, the real thought of just kind of like being able to chill, I think was probably holding her like the first time because.
So it took your wife having your child,
Having the kid.
having the child to hang up the hoe hat
Let me tell you something.
in December. It wasn't hung up yet.
Let me tell you. Yeah, it was because I was always at home. I was never going to do anything. I was
Yeah,
always want
right.
to make sure she was good. But you still are like looking at Instagram and looking at hoes like,
course.
fuck, well, am I out here really missing shit? You know what I mean?
Because I was curious, truly, because I knew you would be honest about when the
Right.
switch actually flipped.
And honestly,
Exactly.
she was your best friend. She knows you.
She knows.
So
And
she's
that's
not
the
like,
thing,
what?
Even when
Phil?
we're out now.
She goes, "What's my daughter's birthday?" That's when the switch flipped.
No, but she'll catch me looking at a fat ass and she'll be like, imagine
Right.
if
I mean, I look at
fucking-
fat asses.
She was like, it was juicy. I'm like, she's like, imagine if I cared. She was like, you don't even hide it. I'm like, because I know you cool. Like,
Yeah.
but you know what
also,
I mean?
you gotta
But
look. I mean, looking like that is.
But also
Being
with the
tempting to
postpartum.
hide it though is respect, Phil. That's what it is. I know men
True.
are looking, but when it's just so like, oh god, it's like if it's rude,
like Wile E.
It's
Coyote,
fucking rude.
your fucking eyes come out. It is
rude.
fucking rude, but it's especially rude right after she birthed that
And
baby.
that's what I'm saying.
That's
And-
her
and
body,
I didn't
man.
know because, you know, you don't want to ever like her to feel some type of way because she's like maybe
Yeah.
the baby mid. But she looks phenomenal. Like her snapback game. She
Damn.
might have a little black in her. But my girl snatched back quick. But I don't know. Yeah, it was somebody said they were like, as a dad, especially to a girl, you want to be the example of what she wants to see in a man. Like if you're
Yeah.
a fuckboy, she's gonna be attracted to fuckboys.
Yeah.
Probably. That's just what it is. She wants to
Sure.
daddy's acceptance. So if she sees me fucking off or getting caught with a bunch of women or whatever, you know, you know what I mean? It would be problematic because then she'd be like, well, that's what my dad like. Maybe that's what men, you know what I
That's
mean?
what I deserve.
So I would try to be the best example of what she should be and pray it works out. But at the same time, I'm only human.
Yeah, we can only do the best that you can do.
Exactly.
That's
So
it. And every parent is going to mess up their kid in some way because
Of
we're all
course,
human beings.
exactly.
So that's, you can let yourself off the hook for that.
yeah, so I think that's what it is. But no, yeah, it makes you. I don't even like looking at porn like I used to.
Wow. Why?
Because he's a girl dad, and that's someone's daughter.
That's true.
In a weird way,
That girl
I've
getting
never
plowed
looked at him.
is somebody's daughter.
It was always the performing arts to me, and I could separate, the art from the person. And now I'm like,
Wow.
because especially in porn, like the shit I'm watching, I'm like, that shit's so they ill with it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, but at the same time, I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
How did you get like that though? Because whoa.
So you've stopped listening to R. Kelly too?
Okay, well, let's not try to get me canceled. But I mean, if it comes on at the cookout, I'm going to step in the name of love. I'll tell you that much. I'm never going to go to it.
Yeah.
But if they got it at the cookout, my feet naturally move to when that
Yeah,
song
yeah.
comes
Well,
on.
it's
Right.
like Michael Jackson. You can't
Right.
he was a pedophile. He was a brilliant musician. Those two
I mean,
things
my
both
boy
exist
was,
at
but
the
the
same
difference
time.
is my boy was never convicted, so I can't even get
Yeah, a
on
lot
that
of people
with him.
don't believe that
I
Michael
can't.
Jackson.
No, especially us.
Everyone's
it's-
on board with R.
it's-
Kelly.
yeah.
We've all decided.
It's wild that one
yeah.
of the most talented pop stars in the history of humanity. I mean, what a wild.
Well, something has to propel you to that
Macaulay
level,
said-
and sometimes it's anal.
Macaulay said it was all professional.
That's not what his co-stars said.
Which one? His brother?
Oh, yeah, we'll tell you off camera.
Okay. Oh,
But we got
what?
intel.
Fuck.
But even still though, yeah, if you want to still enjoy his music, yeah, I still enjoy his music. But boy, was he a bit of
But there's certain songs though with the art, like the R. Kelly thing.
the Pretty Young thing, and that you're like,
I mean, R. Kelly trapped in a closet. He's literally telling you that there's a girl in his closet. And then in the documentary, they're like, so R. Kelly used to trap people in closets. And you're like, whoa, that was all in the nose, R.
But he made Seems Like You're Ready.
Yeah.
I can't even listen to that song anymore.
Yeah,
Like now that I'm
yeah.
like, he's literally talking about underage. Like, seems like you're
Yeah.
ready. He's telling you that you're not right of age, but you seem like it's.
Yeah, it's
I'm
fucked
like,
up.
I can't listen to that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But
It's
there's a
such
lot of
a-
songs over the years, like from like, rock bands that are about waiting for someone to become of
18,
age
yeah.
or, romanticizing that birthday. It's fucking,
there's that song.
it's been
She's
being
just
weird.
16 years old. Leave her alone. They said, but I want you to know. And it's
She's
just like,
only
if I could
17. If you know,
find-
I'm like, there's like,
That's so fucked up.
What was the Young Moolah song? Remember, he said, "In about 3 years, holla at me, Miley Cyrus. I don't discriminate."
I just saw that clip. I gotta look it up.
You know what I'm talking about? Mac
don't know.
Main. That was
Damn.
Young Money. Will Wayne.
Damn.
And I was like, that sounds
fucked up.
bad.
yeah.
but the beat's so good.
It was such a catchy
So
song.
catchy.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But no, it's I don't know, guys. I just tell you, the baby. I'm glad it happened how it happened now. I always thought I
Yeah.
wanted to be 40 before I had my first kid. At least I was like, my comedy career will really be like taking off. Which again, no guarantees even with that.
Of course.
But I was like, I should be more established in my head. I was like, there's no way I'm not successful by 40.
Yeah.
And me and my girl, like, we've been so great, and like it was the team, like it was just perfect. Like the pregnancy was great, and it was not just
good.
me saying it. She used to tell people, she was like, no, it's really been like someday she'd flip the fuck out, and I'd be like, did I really do anything? But for the most part, it was always fun. Like sometimes you're not looking like you tripping right now.
Well, yeah, because she's fucking baking a person in there.
Yeah.
Those hormones, I can't imagine. If one day I do get pregnant, I'm like, please just be chill, Krystyna, if we can.
I'm
but
telling
I
you,
can't.
buddy,
The
there's
raging
no
hormones.
chance if you're gonna be chill. Them hormones flood in.
Yeah, I mean, I PMS, not every month, but like a lot of times, a lot of months, I'll go off the handles, and I'm like, oh god,
Yeah.
it's so annoying.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. The craziest part of the actual birth, y'all. Like,
Yeah.
Did y'all? I don't know where y'all grew up, but we had to watch like the Circle of Life video.
I
on
watched,
sex ed.
I
Yeah.
watched the birth video. It was traumatizing.
too.
It was traumatizing.
They don't even do it justice, maybe because we didn't have HD. A lot of it was muffled.
It was VHS tape.
A lot of
Yeah.
it was muffled. Is
Yeah.
your note on that?
Yeah, that's just something. I wasn't prepared, and my girl didn't want me down at the bottom. She already said, she was like, first of all,
Yeah.
I know how weak your stomach is.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, let's not even. Nobody has to be
Yeah.
a hero.
Yeah.
She was like, I just want you.
Also, like, I just also want your face by my face.
Especially in case you
just
take
for
a shit or
support.
something. She was like, I don't want you to see that, which is so commendable of her. You know what I mean? So
What a nice lady.
I'm just saying, babe.
Didn't want
like,
me to see her taking a shit when she delivers our kid.
I see that thing. If it gets blown out, come on. She knew.
Well, it's just also like, yeah, you can't unsee it, and you just
can't.
don't know how you're going to react to
Exactly.
it. You
And
just
even-
don't know.
Exactly. And my
you
daughter
don't
was 9
know.
pounds, and she had her
Oh.
naturally. So
Yeah.
well, I'm
Wow,
okay,
no
so-
pain, no
Well, she did an
epidural or-
epidural, but
okay, I
she
was
had
like,
there,
whew.
so she was still pushed.
Yeah.
But yeah, she wanted me at the shoulders, but I was so tall, I could still see the entire thing. So it really was like.
Whoa. Was
Yeah.
there a mirror?
No, I was
Oh, you
standing
could
on her
just
shoulder,
see?
but I'm looking down.
Oh,
and
right, because she's like
so I could
this. She's like
see-
curled up.
And and so
Wow.
it was like,
What say you?
I tell you, I didn't pass out. I didn't cry. A lot of people thought I was crying. I was speechless.
Yeah, right.
But it was weird because the feeling of, and I don't know how to put it because it sounds weird, because I always have respected my girl, but the feeling of like respect, I held her in such a higher esteem than I even thought I could because.
It's so badass. to get
Yeah, I'm
birth,
like, you just made a fucking person.
and delivered
And
it.
push-
That's crazy.
And because I remember when she was pushing, and they're like, "Come on, Nick, Nick, one more push." I remember yelling out. I was like, "No way, the hole's not big enough." And I said that.
That's the technical term.
Yeah, the hole's not big enough. There's no way. But
You're like, stop the procedure.
it's not supposed to look like that.
I really wish you had some tape. That would make a sick reel to
Yeah.
just fill in the birthing
And
room.
cut. Can we stop real quick?
It gets better. So my mom cried, died laughing when I told the story. So as they're saying one more push, I remember in like all the YouTube videos I was watching prior to my daughter being born of what to do. And I remember just all this like skin to skin contact with babies is just like, so like you have to do this like for their development. So they get your scent, so they know you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I just remember skin to skin. And so they're like, come on, push. One more. And I remember as soon as I see my daughter just like slide down the water slide, like it was just, I literally, as soon as I saw her, I just take my clothes off. Like I just unsheathed.
Yeah.
And as soon as I did that, the nurse looks over at me.
Like, what the fuck are you doing?
And I said,
Phil?
Skin to skin. She said, not quite. And I was like, okay.
Right. All of a sudden the baby has an infection because Phil was like,
oh, because it has to get cleaned off first,
Yeah, it has to get
right?
cleaned up and-
but didn't they put her on your girlfriend first or no?
No, because they had to clip. They let me cut the cord.
they do a couple cleanups before they place.
Yeah, they definitely clean it up.
My thing though is like, so I know that you have the sheet up so that people who, to separate people who want to see and people who don't want to see. But like, if I'm the person birthing the baby, and maybe this is because you don't want to they don't want the woman to pass out, but like, I want to see the baby coming out of me in real time.
What a once in a lifetime.
No sheet
there was no sheet.
That's what I'm saying.
But you said they're tall enough to see over. So what are you seeing over?
This her vagina.
Her gown.
Belly.
She
probably couldn't see her own vagina because her belly was.
Yeah, her belly was so
You said
big.
that like you're a giant. Phil, most of us are tall enough to see over someone's knees. What the fuck are you talking about?
I think if you're 5'10", you'd be safe.
Oh, you're 6'2". Yeah.
I was towering over
when you're
the
giving
belly.
birth, you're like this. You're like
Yeah.
curled up in a ball.
No. Well, because they used to. I mean, I guess if you want to, they can put the separator up. Okay.
Oh, even for a vaginal birth, they can do that.
Especially for a vaginal. Yeah. No, because
it was the C-section where they
the
did
fucking
that.
medical industry acknowledges that men get the ick sometimes. Like I'm convinced.
No, you don't. I didn't need a medical professional tell me I get the ick. I get the ick like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I just remember seeing it was so much fluid. But I think the part that fucked me up the most, in my head, I knew about the placenta. I'm picturing it being a bloody jellyfish. That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I would picture it.
Baby, it's like a fucking it looked like her heart fell out of her vagina. I literally just was like, what the fuck is that?
You give birth to it after the baby, right?
It's a braided cord that's connected to the baby. But then once they clipped my daughter, the braided cord was just hanging. And they were like, you're going to need to push again. We got to get the placenta out. And I'm like, it doesn't just slide out. And so that's why, because by now she can feel stuff. And so it was so much pain, and she had to push again to get it out. And when it came out again, it was like this bloody spleen.
That big?
It was huge. It looked like a suitcase, like a Louis V day bag.
Wait, how much does a placenta usually weigh?
I guess for a 9-pound baby, it's got to be enough to feed that baby.
Right,
so
and it has to cover the baby, so it's got to be bigger than the baby.
It was massive. And then I got the ick because I'm like, people eat that motherfucker? Like, no way.
Well, they get it like in pill form, right?
The average placenta is 1.5 pounds.
Jesus.
That's so much heavier than I thought it would be.
That is
Yeah, I thought it was like an empty,
a thin paper
like
veil.
a mesh laundry bag.
Right.
No?
Fuck, man.
It's an actual organ
That's
in there.
wild.
It's crazy. I'm like,
And then the umbilical cord that's attached to the baby and then the other end of the umbilical cord is attached to the placenta, right?
Placenta, right.
So it just everything comes out. You're not cutting anything out of the woman.
But that's why she had to push again a couple minutes later just to get that.
Right. So for a minute there was still that cord connecting.
Yeah, just hanging, just swinging.
Boy, like a tampon string of doom.
Dude, but it's the coolest looking thing you've ever. It almost looks like an alien life form.
Wow.
You just sold Krystyna on pregnancy.
I know.
It looks like a case of sausage, but then there's like this braid that goes around the whole.
Whoa.
Yeah, like
the
corkscrews
body's amazing. The body's
wild.
amazing. It's fucking
Oh
amazing.
my goodness.
That's wow.
I'm like losing oxygen. I had a yawn because I was like, I've lost oxygen.
Now, how long was your baby away getting cleaned up by the nurses before you were able to?
So I was thinking they don't do that anymore. I think they might have said they stopped it at COVID. So they had this this
clean the
little
baby in your room?
UV light thing, like this little station right off in the same room.
Oh, good.
So they put her
That's great.
beside. She was in the same room getting cleaned up by another team of nurses.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good because I always thought it was kind of fucked up that they take the baby away from you the second it gets born. I'm like, don't do that. Oh my God, I would be so upset.
My biggest fear is what if they switch it? Because
that's
babies
happened.
are so back in the day.
You don't know.
They don't look the same as they do, and they look very similar, and it's hard to tell the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was wild because I was like, but no, it was the coolest shit I've ever seen.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then it's like all these big major life moments. I imagine there's after your dad passes away and you're hungry, you're like, I guess I'll eat.
Yeah,
Like
almost.
I imagine, like, and even with having a child now, it's like, okay, I got to go to, I got to take a shower. It's like now you're taking a shower as a dad. Like it's all so different.
So weird, yeah. And I mean, I was a lot of depression eating. I done packed on a couple LBs. I've been calling it. I don't like the dad bod, so I've been trying to like rebrand it and call it the father figure. But,
Well, if they call it, I mean,
That's funny.
Dad bod is for like an older dad. I mean, like this is, they call it sympathy weight.
something like that, But my girl now looks way better than I do, so she's lost all that. And
Yeah,
like,
I mean, you
I'm
also lost your father.
Yeah,
so
and that's
like,
what I'm saying. I
there's a
was
lot
just
going
eating. I was
on.
just like, because I would be bored, and I drank a lot. But I will tell you, the awesome part about having a kid is it probably saved me from spiraling into just fuck, because I'm always down to have a good time, and with nothing stopping me, I'm gonna go out and do Molly and do whatever the fuck else I want to do, and just like be out all night after hours. The kid, I couldn't lie. I was always distracted with what does she need, because at the end of the day, I had a great father, so I want to be a great father. So I'm like, my dad wouldn't have been fucking off feeling sorry for himself. Like he would have got the job done. So I got to get the job done. And I think that really helped me keep my mom focused. So I'd have like some whiskey some nights. Sometimes I let it get away from me a little bit and finish the whole J-Mo. But you know what I mean? Other than that, it was no other like extracurriculars that would like harm me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was, all with everything going on with drugs and shit. I never used to think about anything. Like somebody have some party, I'm a party.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
For the first time, I got offered it after being a dad, and I'm like, what if there's fentanyl in it? And they're like, you've never thought about that? I'm like, yeah, I dropped dead in this dirty ass bar, and my daughter's a stripper now because you gave me a fucking terrible bag. Not saying there's anything wrong with stripping, I love them, but
yeah, but you don't want your daughter to grow up without a father.
In my head, that's how I think. So I was like, I just try. I don't even really jaywalk no more, y'all. I'm like, these crazy ass motherfuckers.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I think of like my nephew. I drove down to Pennsylvania for my nephew's birthday, and I met him at his baseball game, and I drove him in the car, and I was like, I've never had my nephew in my car before, and I was just 10-2. I readjusted the mirror. I'm like, Jesus, and I'm like, this isn't even my kid, and
Blinker
I'm like,
on.
I'm driving completely different because you're like, oh fuck, I gotta be careful.
Yeah,
but it's like, isn't it interesting though that you're like, well, why didn't I want to be careful with myself?
Yeah, that's what I'm sitting here thinking. Goes, why are we making all these adjustments for others?
I felt like, what's the worst that could happen back before the kid for some reason?
Did you feel invincible though?
Almost.
Yeah.
I kind of did. Like, I was like, I've partied so much and nothing's ever happened. I've never even been at a party where something bad happened.
Oh, because I'm constantly prepared to die. I have been since I was born. Yeah.
And that's the difference. In my head, I'm like, my dad died. I was like the first really close. Like, I've had a grandma, like with everybody, I was like 7, 8.
Sure. Yeah,
But this is the first close death and it changed my perspective. Like, wow, people die, which
of
but
course
it's
you
like,
know, but
it's
not. It pales in comparison to actually
it's so
experiencing
final.
it.
Like, I'll never talk to you again. And so now I'm like, that's my dad. Like, and he was only 66.
Oh, young.
So you know what I mean? Like, I'm like. And he's the oldest person to live in his family. That's what the whole thing was.
Okay.
And
So you wanna be
I
mindful
went
of
through
your
a
health.
whole mental thing during his funeral. Like, what if I only got 65 years on this earth? I said that to my girl. I was like, my dad's the oldest. So what if I only got 60 years?
Was it all cancer or was it different things?
Cancer from him. His brother had diabetes, and then his mom, something else. I don't really
You really should probably go vegan.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. Like, you should really clean up the fucking...
I ate a tomahawk last week.
What's that?
A steak. Oh, yeah.
With the Flintstone bone.
I was like, is that an axe?
Well, you could. I mean, if you don't have a lot of cardiac problems, you could do like paleo. But I'm not like that's like the problem. Like when you have a history of all the men or all the people dying at a certain age, like you kind of do have to like be psychotic about it. I mean, when my dad died, I went straight to the cardiologist and had I'm like running on a treadmill, have all kinds of things all over my body. Like,
I'm scared, if I'm being honest with you.
But don't let the fear stop you from the reality, right? So it's like I think some people, especially men,
I do that. I let the fear stop me from the reality.
Use fear,
It's
and
not
then
good.
you say, "Well, I'm scared to know the truth, so I'm just not going to make any of these appointments. I'm not going to go." But like, we have such, the beauty of technology is not just getting, a BBL or something. It's like that you have access to know your health and prevent things from happening.
And I need to, because I'm eating Tums now after every meal, after every drink, and my mom's like, Phil.
And that's not good. Yeah, that's a Band-Aid too.
Yeah,
so
and she was like, so it could be like messing up your esophagus. It could be an ulcer or something. I was like, okay, well, shit.
Yeah, man, I get it. Like, it's so stressful, and then you get so stressed that can greatly inhibit your ability to take action. And then it's just a shit cycle that you have to just go.
I am. I got Obamacare, but I'm like a cardiologist. They even take Obamacare?
Yeah, no, they do. You just have to refer it to whoever your primary physician is. Sometimes you have to look it up on the website depending on what health insurance you have, and it'll be someone who's in the, what do they call it, the circle,
the network.
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. But it'll be. But also, I feel like, because you became a parent and you lost your dad in such a small amount of time, like you feel all of a sudden like you have to rise to the occasion for your daughter, but like, and be the man of the house and all these things that are ingrained in you societally, but like, make sure to take time for yourself to grieve it, apart from like the whiskey drinking and all that, like,
For sure. I cry once a week, for sure.
Good.
In the shower,
Good. Yeah.
Okay, nobody can grab my like a bitch.
And also don't feel like... But also don't feel like your grieving is like a burden on your wife or, your girlfriend or your daughter or your mom, I think there's almost like a thing like we want to be strong for other people, but then it's also like, well, we all know that this person meant a lot to us, and so it's okay to express that.
You know what's so interesting? I'm like, the times that I've been around other people and we've been in a dark situation and we're like, two people never cried at the same time because there's like this like irrational fear that if we're both crying, we're going to implode.
Right.
Like it is
too
weird.
Much grief.
Yeah. Like one of us needs to be, it's always yin and yanging. So if you're if you're unstable right now, okay, then I will automatically be the stable one. If I need it, then you just are more of the rock today. But it's like, I guess you are allowed to both cry at the same time.
You can, and I mean, not speaking ill of my mother, because I never will, because I love her to death, but like, she'll never hear this, thank God. So that's what I'm saying. But her grief seems so much more different and so much heavier. But at the same time,
different. Yeah.
But she actually said it at one point, and I literally had to say something to her at one point. I was like, "You're not the only one who lost somebody." You know what I mean? Because it was getting to the point where I felt like, you know what I mean? Like
there was no space for your grief.
No space. Like,
that's gotta be.
And me and my sister literally, we're trying to grieve too, and you're literally like yelling and cussing us the fuck out. You know
that's probably part of her
right.
grief,
and so I literally had to say something because I was like, I know it was your husband. I was like, that's our dad. I was like, so like I said, there's no right or wrong way to grieve. Because I'm smoking weed outside, like this is South Carolina, I'm smoking weed, I'm drinking out the bottle. She was like, substance abuse while you're I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
Like it infuriated me. Like, who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? And so that's how my mom is, you know what I mean? And that's how she's always been. So it's not like, you know what I mean? That's why me and my sister, but she looks at me and she literally says, me and my sister laugh. She pulls me aside, she's like, I really think your sister may be a sociopath. She's not grieved at all. I said, well, there's no reason to judge her because you don't know how she's grieving. She was like, she didn't shed a tear. I was like, who are you to tell?
Not that you've seen.
And I've been there, and I heard her crying in her room, but that's my best friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's like, but you see what I'm saying? Like, why would you even say some shit like that?
Well, she might just be stressed out because she's grieving.
Exactly.
I can't imagine how strstressful grief is when it's the love of your life that you made you have one sibling.
Yeah, me and my sister.
2 children with like, man, oh man, that's got to be otherworldly.
Yeah.
Well, death also brings out the worst in people, So you'll
like airports,
because it's such a high stress situation that you'll really kind of find out like who you'd want to be near in a disaster and who you wouldn't be, right? And people really show, I think, their selfishness. And what I found, I was talking to my friend whose father also recently passed away, and she, she was like, everyone just keeps asking me how my mom is doing. And I was like, yeah, it's annoying. So to kind of speak to that, like, that you lost your father too. Cause I was like, it's the number one question I get. How is your mom doing?
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's like, I think there's a part of it that obviously it's easier for people to ask that, especially people who haven't lost a parent. They do know the loss. They know the loss of losing love. And so they understand that. They know how painful that is. So that's kind of what they're asking about because that's a grief that they know. So I think it's partly that. And I think it's partly a way to check in without actually having to deal with the grief one-on-one. People are, what I've learned, I mean, especially through stand-up comedy and doing jokes about like my dad dying, like people are so wildly uncomfortable with death. And at first it made me really angry. I was so angry because I was like, you fucking morons. This is going to happen to all of us. It's this one shared experience that we all have. It will happen to us. It will happen to everyone in this world that we love. And you can't even like listen to me talk about it for 10 fucking minutes. It made me like disgusted with humanity. And then when I got past that, I started trying to think about like where was coming from. But yeah, and I think like the that you will kind of get like so much how's your mom, and it will feel hurtful. But I think it's just people just checking in with you, but not having to kind of deal with your grief in that moment, you know, because they don't know how to. They have no idea how to help you
at all.
So they ask a question that is caring, but still a little bit unattached from the current situation. It's been like, once I got past like the deep, deep sadness, I mean, it was just an incredible learning experience about how we're really amongst people who have absolutely no control of what's going on and are fucking driving like this. I mean, it made me so scared of humanity. I go, oh, we really are like, we're on our own out here. No one has any idea how to handle anything.
Do you think that you had to like not get over it, but like heal before you felt like the jokes were like getting the proper response? Because
I also took a period. I mean, because we're talking about, you know, you're 4 months, right?
No, I tried. No, I tried like when I first I took about a month and a half off. I didn't do any, but the first time back, I was like, I just came back from my dad's funeral thinking I could make it funny. First off, the crowd automatically was like, oh, you know what I mean? Like they're just, but then as I'm saying it, I can feel almost like water, like filling up my, so I'm like, you're not ready for this either. Like, what the fuck?
I've totally been there. The first time I tried to do it, I totally felt myself about to cry. And I was like, oh, you do not do this again. Do not do this again. Then you ban yourself from the joke for a week or a month or, you know, for sure.
Told it again.
Well, and I mean, for me, I mean, I'm 2.5 years out at this point, and for sure, like I knew the jokes were funny, and so the jokes haven't really changed that much as far as the wording, but the way I present them has, and because people can sense the rawness, right? It's to me, it's very similar to when you are trying to tell an edgy joke and you don't have full confidence in executing it, and people can smell your fear. So the same way they can smell your fear in that situation, they can smell your vulnerability and your grief, but not in a way that's artistically positive, in a way where it's like you trying to psych yourself out of the sadness, you know?
Exactly.
And they can fucking sniff it. They will still be uncomfortable with death. It's hilarious. I ask anyone with dead parent jokes, but or God, who was that comic who he lost his son, and he did jokes about them, and I was just like floored by. No, it was a black comic, and I was I was just like really like floored about, like, because you have to have a mastery of stand-up comedy to do dead kid, you know?
Dead kid?
Yeah. I was like, wow.
I'm probably retiring.
Right.
Was there even joy in the world anymore?
Right. Did you have an experience with like the people around you reacting to you in a way that added stress to your situation?
It was just a lot of fake motherfuckers, you know? I mean, that's where it's just people, like my dad's family was kind of, like they were estranged because there's so much bullshit. And, you know, my dad was adopted in, you know what I mean, and took the last name Duckett when he was a boy. But, you know what I mean? But, you know, there's only like, I've only met like 3 or 4 cousins, you know what I mean? But my dad was a pretty big deal in the state of North Carolina. So when the funeral happens,
because he's a coaching.
I mean, and it was all on the news and everything, newspapers. So all of a sudden, it's like 10, 15 last name Duckett people in the house eating our food and shit. Yeah. And now I'm ready to say
your dad.
Because now I'm over here, I've been drinking. So I'm like, and another motherfucking thing.
I've been drinking, but not in the fun Beyonce way, though.
Right. Like, everybody can get some of this smoke today.
Yeah.
Where the fuck y'all been?
Fuck, yeah.
And, you know, they're saying shit like, why didn't you tell me he was sick? Why didn't I tell you?
What the fuck?
The amount of emails I fucking got, I had no idea he was sick. He didn't like you.
Yeah.
No, he probably did. My dad liked everyone, but I mean, it's just so, people feel such a fucking, they feel such like
FOMO?
It's like they feel like an ownership to know. It's like, you weren't even fucking in the circle, bitch. If you want to be in the circle was available to you for 60 whatever years.
You would have known if you stayed in touch. It was no secret.
Damn,
so the fact that you didn't know until it was too late.
And now you give a shit.
Right.
Well, and then it becomes your job as the family to be some kind of a fucking death publicist. Right. And then go, why didn't I know about the funeral? Bitch, check Instagram. I mean, this is the age of technology.
Don't get me started.
Oh my God, shut up.
I had somebody said, when's the funeral? I was like, it'll be Sunday. This is like Monday. I was like, we plan on having the funeral this coming Sunday. They're like, that's a little too soon. I don't know if everybody will be able to get in town. I said, do we give a fuck?
Right.
Yeah.
The people who care. It's 2025. 2024. The people who care will get on a plane, train, fucking rent a car.
The red eye, you'll figure it out.
You'll figure it the fuck out.
And that's
Death waits for no one.
So I'm literally just getting agitated. So I see my mom, and she's being all diplomatic, because this is how our family always is. Even when shit's hitting the fan, we are very stoic. And I'm like, I'm not that little kid anymore.
Yeah, you didn't have that
I will
now.
cuss everybody the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I promise you that.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, imagine I'd be so territorial of don't say shit about my family member. Like, I love them. I was there for them. Yeah, that's got to be nuts. That's got to be wild. And God, that on top of grieving a major loss. Woo!
Right.
That's probably one of the, when you say, Corinne, death brings out the worst in people. To get, while you're experiencing that amount of sadness, to even get one, maybe dumb question, that would, I can't
lashed
imagine.
out at my girl at one point because I wanted her, because she didn't meet her grandfather. So I was like, well, she's got to be down here for the funeral. And my aunt is a nurse. Well, first off, I was like, Nick, you got to get her down here. I was like, we'll fly. And then she was like, okay, she was like, I wouldn't miss it. And then the next day, I'm like, so what time will you guys be getting in? And she was like, I don't think we're coming. She was like, the baby is not even 2 weeks old. She doesn't have any shots yet, Phil. And she was like, and your aunt, I said, well, I thought you said the doctor says, okay. She said, well, I said they advised against it, but babies have flown, people have gone into labor on vacation and they have to fly home, you know what I mean?
Right.
So babies do fly in their first few days out of emergency, but they said I wouldn't advise, especially with COVID. It's January, no shots.
It's tricky, man.
Right.
And then it's her bait.
And then
it's tricky.
But then she
it's
said
your
my
dad.
aunt was the one who told her, so I felt betrayed by her. I was like, why the fuck would you tell her not to? And so then I felt anger, because I was like, so you didn't meet her, you're not bringing her to I was like, so you just don't even, I got really hurtful, and I was like, so you just don't even want her to know shit about her black side. I literally said the meanest thing I could think of.
Right.
Because I was and I felt so bad.
Because you had all
a
this
couple
emotion.
days. Yeah, and I needed somebody to be mad at. And now my daughter can't come, and he comes. It was a lot on me. You know what I mean? And so I literally had to call her. What she said, I already knew. It wasn't I said, but I still went mean for no reason. I knew that would ruffle your feathers. That's been a thing, having an interracial child, and you know what I mean? So,
right, and
I said the shit that I knew, you know.
Yeah, you said the thing that's going to hurt the most. For some reason, when we're carrying a lot of stress, it's your brain just goes to this place of if I make somebody feel bad right now, maybe that would relieve it. And it kind of does temporarily, which is fucked up.
To get it off of you.
Yeah, but then you have to deal with you have to clean that up of hurting somebody that you love. You're
especially somebody who's been there for you and held
who just had your baby.
Yeah, it's come on.
It's crazy.
Man, you know what I mean? So
yeah, man.
Well, it's definitely, but it is hard. It's interesting being in a romantic relationship when losing a parent, because it's kind of then you're dealing with negotiating most likely two of the closest relationships you've ever had in your life, and how they kind of fall in your life priority wise, because it's just as much as you love a girlfriend or a boyfriend, they've only known you for couple years. I'm like, my dad knew me for 35 years. I remember saying that to my boyfriend at the time. He was like, oh, what about me? I go, oh, I'm sorry. My dad knew me for 35 years. So yes, I am going to prioritize him right now.
He's just losing it. He's like, well, no shit. I would hope so.
Sorry, I knew it first.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's weird.
That's wild.
Yeah.
How do you exist? It's just wild. Life is crazy. Life is so intense. It's such an intense ride, man. Yeah. And it doesn't stop. It just ebbs and flows.
But it's helped. Now that I feel like I found my why. I know it sounds corny, but that's
it's not corny.
You know what I mean? But that's really
what is it?
Well, if we could tell fuckboy Phil that he was going to say that in April 2024.
Yeah, this guy's a fucking bitch. Pussy ass motherfucker. But
is this Super Soul Sunday? What podcast are we listening to?
Wow.
I don't.
You found your why.
Yeah, I don't. I told my dad before he left, when I was holding him, I said, he said, I just need you to know, I'm proud of you. He said, you went to New York and he took it over. He said, you never been there. I said, shit, basically.
Yeah.
He said, I couldn't have
You're
done it.
a guy from the South.
From the South.
Suburbs,
never seen New York, just packed a bag and moved here.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
damn.
Never been. And so,
you believe in yourself.
8 years later, you know what I mean, and recording my first album coming up in July. So it's
good.
But I told my pops before, I said, bro, I got this. I said, I'm not going to stop. I said, I'm right there. And so I think, and then, seeing my daughter and like seeing how my life has changed, we living pretty good now. It ain't the same boy sleeping on the floor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, well, damn. It's crazy. I got this balling ass apartment now, and I'm find myself looking out my window like it's Gotham, and I'm still not happy. I'm like, yeah, but this should be in Manhattan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I was like, are you
Your brain
kidding
is
me?
always going to look for the thing to improve. I mean? It always does.
I think that's why I keep working so hard, because I can feel like I'm in the neighborhood of success.
Yeah.
I don't know when it's coming, but I'm like, it's got to be around here somewhere. You know what I mean? And so just keep on pushing a little bit.
It's amazing.
Appreciate it.
Well, where can we find you online? What would you like to promote?
Promote Funny Phil Duck, funny PhilDuck, like quack quack.
Someone's a new dad.
Yeah.
Duck says quack quack.
I'm all about the sound.
ASMR, yeah.
I did that video with Fish over COVID. You did that.
We did the Lady Gaga. We incorporated ASMR into the Lady Gaga video.
Yeah, that was the first time I'd ever heard of it.
Well, I'm really into ASMR. Like,
it's a porn category. I didn't even know why.
Is it?
Well, yes, it's on all the sites.
Because it makes you feel the tingles, but the tingles don't necessarily have to be sexual. That being said, I can't listen to male ASMR creators. It feels like I'm being raped.
Sorry.
No,
To anyone who's actually
right. Because when something is like, why does this feel sexual? I don't want it to be sexual. And you're like,
but I could hear it because it'd be a bunch of grunting and shit.
It feels invasive because you're starting to get the full body tingles, and you're like, I don't want to make a man allow a man I don't know to make me feel that way. A woman I don't know to make me feel that way. Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine.
That's wild. I
No
never even thought about it like that, but wow.
Yeah, well, because it's literally my body saying men are not safe.
Yeah.
Oh. So write that down to tell your
daughter that.
I'm going to just bring her by your place. Sit down. You got a one-on-one with Fish today, man.
I know this white bitch. She's crazy.
Oh, my God. No, I love it.
Happy to help.
I'm happy to be. I'm happy that I know you guys, because I'm telling you, there will probably be a time where I reach out. I'm like, listen, she's doing this thing, man. What do I do?
Yeah. Hey.
Y'all are body positive. Tell me.
Yeah.
Because I'm about to go crazy on her.
Okay. Yeah. Please definitely call us before.
What the fuck are you doing?
Before any of these. I'm imagining my head.
I just don't even know, man.
All right. Well, follow Phil, guys, at Funny Phil Duck. And then wait, so you recorded the special, or it's happening in July?
July 14th, I'm recording at New York Comedy Club.
Yay.
7 to 9 o'clock.
Nice.
I signed the contract. So,
Nice.
There'll be tickets and everything. But follow me, and I'll be promoting it, and Pinch Records and all them good old people over there. They're going to fuck with it. And
nice.
We're going to see if we can make something I'm proud of.
That's so exciting. I can't wait. I'll come out for that. All right. Well, this has been Guys We Fucked, the anti-slut shaming podcast. We'll talk to you next Friday.